lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just go to 1ignoremyscore.com right now. That's www.1ignoremyscore.com. Auto financing the easy way. 1ignoremyscore.com. Get started today. Auto financing the easy way.
What just went down with Lakers basketball? We get you closer to all you need to know right now. This is the Lakers Locker Room Report.
The ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
Highlights, stats, key moments in the game.
Lakers with a win tonight at Staples Center, 124-112 over the Brooklyn Nets. And we spent a lot of time speculating on what the revenge factor for D'Angelo Russell was going to be tonight in his first game back against the Lakers. I guess what we did not take into consideration was the Brook Lopez revenge factor. 34 points and 10 rebounds for Brook Lopez in 30 minutes tonight. He was fantastic.
Apparently he was a little salty about being traded.
I guess so.
He's lying that maybe finally bought instead of leased or something out there. I mean, I don't know, but this was the night where, because we've had this debate, is who's the best player on this team? And the answer is Brook Lopez, but we haven't seen it in the same way we saw it a little bit in Portland last night, and then really saw it tonight, particularly from the perimeter, and then also the double-digit rebounding is critical, because that's always been the softest part of his game.
Lakers had 3 players, in fact, with double-digit rebounding tonight, 3 players with double-doubles. Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and Brook Lopez all hit that mark. I'm still not convinced that Kyle Kuzma is not their best player. In his first start tonight for the Lakers in place of the injured Larry Nance, he scored 21 points.
Larry Pip?
Yeah, right. He might get Wally Pip, because I can't imagine that Kyle Kuzma comes out of the lineup if he continues to play anything approaching this.
No, you can't do it. At some point, you want to, whether it's rotations, whether it's, make rookies earn, whatever it is, you have to play the guys who are playing the best. And obviously, Kyle Kuzma is not going to shoot, what was he tonight? 8 of 11. That's not going to hold up necessarily, but he's been well over 50% all year long, and the way he plays, where he does attack the basket, and it's not just taking jump shots or whatever, that part of it, he's going to have finished the year with, I think, a pretty high percentage. If he rebounds like this, he plays defense like that, he's doing all the other stuff, he's going to stay in the lineup.
Everything you said is true, and I agree. But I'm going even more macro. Just watching him play, he belongs out there in every sense of the word. There's nothing about the way that he plays that makes you think that guy was in college a year ago. Everything about him screams NBA player.
Well, we saw it tonight. We were last night. We were sitting here, kind of marveling at that play he had down the stretch, the little jump hook off the glass or whatever, and you're like, that was intentional. Today he had a play against Damari Carroll where he drives the lane Damari Carroll is an excellent defender. And Kuzma puts the ball forward, drives the lane, little drop step. I mean, these are high-end veteran technical moves that he's able to do as a rookie, and it's very impressive.
4 for 4 from the foul line, too, for Kyle Kuzma. Brandon Ingram had a nice night as well. That's 3 games in a row that Brandon Ingram has looked pretty sharp. We'll come back. We'll talk about how he played tonight and, of course, take a look at Lonzo Ball. 124-112 is the final score. The Lakers beat the Nets. We're back with more on the Lakers Locker Room on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
It's always time for the right time. Bomani. When a 3-time All-Pro wants to talk to you about what he's experienced like playing against Tom Brady, let the man on the line. We got Trevor Price.
I have sacked Tom Brady several times. I've hit him several times. And that mess he's saying about his body kind of goes soft and limp before it hits the ground, that is 100% true. You're like hitting a pillow.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. Weekdays from 4 to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio or on the ESPN app. Bomani. Mike and Mike.
Good morning. We are back in better than ever.
Monday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Levatar Show on ESPN Radio.
Verlander. Bellissimo.
Stugat gave more credit to someone who did
That's
not
correct.
play.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is what Stugatz does. Verlander should get the win, not Morton.
Complete game shutout.
Bellissimo. Yes, your Italian is terrible. Just unbelievably bad.
My English is bad.
The Dan Levatar Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com. Dan Levatar.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Joe Girardi has been let go by the Yankees, but that does not sound like that when all of us are shouting it.
What are you saying, Stugatz? I have no idea. I think I said 911 in there somewhere.
The Dan Levatar Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Mike and Mike.
I tried to go trick-or-treating. I told my daughter, I said, Dylan, 4 o'clock trade deadline, 4:01, we're out the door. We're going to be ringing doorbells. We're going to get a lot of candy. And I'm about to leave, and all of a sudden I get a call that the A.J. McCarron Browns trade was almost near, and I'm on the phone. I'm taking her trick-or-treating. This went on for about 2 hours. So the Cleveland Browns marred my Halloween trick-or-treat experience with my daughter. I'm still angry to this day.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Capping everything from tonight's Lakers game.
The Lakers Locker Room Report.
On the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
Lakers with a win tonight, 124 to 112 over the Nets, and we set the over-under on the amount of shots that D'Angelo Russell would take tonight at 25. And if you had the under, you can cash your ticket at the window. Woo-hoo. He took 24 shots. He just got under it, just 8 of 24.
The rule says you got to be under by a lot.
That's right. 7 assists, 3 steals, and 7 rebounds for D'Angelo Russell. And, you know, having watched a lot of D'Angelo's game, that was a very D'Angelo Russell-type basketball game.
I think the volume on the shot was a little higher. And the number that stuck out to me, particularly on a night where the Nets took 38 free throws. Mm-hmm. 38 times they went to the line. Russell only took 1. And so, you know, if you're looking for a criticism of how he played tonight, it's that everything was on the perimeter. He needed 24 shots to get 17 points. So overall, a very inefficient night shooting for D'Angelo. And if you're not getting to the line, then you're not really helping your team.
Brandon Ingram was kind of on a little bit of a seesaw where he would play one game that was rather uninspiring, and then the next night or the next game he would play pretty well, and then kind of ping-pong back and forth between those two things. Brandon Ingram's put together 3 games in a row that are very respectable. Again, he shot the ball well tonight, 7 of 13. He made both of his 3-point attempts. He had 10 rebounds, a couple of assists, a couple of blocks along the way as well. He had 18 points. And that version of Brandon Ingram is really good.
And I think what the significant thing for me that I see is when there's no zeros anywhere in that stat line. Mm-hmm. When it's, you know, he's got a couple 3-pointers. He's got some points. He's rebounding the ball. He moves it with a couple assists. There's a steal. There's a block. Because, and I think the biggest disservice that Magic Johnson did, and it wasn't intentional. He was trying to hype the kid up and express how confident he is talking about him like he's a scorer. And what Luke Walton has constantly emphasized is we think Brandon is best when he's just playing ball. And that's what this kind of line is. It's rebounds one night. It's assists. It's a steal. It's all that. And that's the kind of player he's going to end up being, you know, sort of that Draymond Green mold of fills the stat sheet with everything, but isn't going to be a 25-point-a-night guy. That guy is incredibly valuable in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. If a guy like Brandon Ingram is your third option on a team,
a 25-year-old guy who's doing this kind of thing every night, you have a very good team.
Yeah, he had a nice night tonight. 18 points, total for Brandon Ingram. We still need to get to Lonzo Ball. We'll do that next. 124 to 112 is the final score. The Lakers beat the Nets at Staples Center. Back with more in the Lakers locker room on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
So in a year that many have blasted the SEC, saying it's down, it's not what it used to be, look what happened with the first college football playoff poll. Alabama, Georgia. Georgia 1, Bama 2, and some other SEC schools mentioned fairly prominently. But does it really change the narrative? Does it really change the image that this league is down? Listen, I cover the league day in, day out. It is down. After the first 4 or 5, it's pretty mediocre. That's why so many coaches are on the hot seat. One's already been fired, many more to come. But it is also interesting that what you do in the playoff can mask your problems. And I think with the Alabama and Georgia possibility of both getting in, it will overshadow the fact that the SEC is no longer the best conference in college football. It will quiet it for a while. It won't end the debate forever. But for now, all that matters is what's going on at the top. And at the top, the SEC looks very, very good.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I've never felt more alive.
Disclaimer. Geico cannot guarantee you will feel more alive. You either possess functioning respiratory and circulatory systems, or you do not, or you are a zombie. If you are indeed a brain-starved zombie and you would like to save money on car insurance, the Geico legal team applauds your excellent life choices, even in your shambling afterlife. But we strongly encourage you to visit geico.com or download the Geico app. Please stay a minimum of 500 feet away from our large and presumably delicious, delicious brains.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I love sports. I just wish they could be with me always. They say you don't choose the app chooses you. It is everything I could ever want in a sports companion. It can stream the games and shows that I love, and it's there whenever I need it. I never thought I could find an app that loves sports as much as I do. Until now.
Download the ESPN app to stream ESPN Radio and all the ESPN networks now.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. So it's not just that Papa John is out here saying that the protests are messing up his money. Is he not directly saying that Roger Goodell is messing up his money? Let me ask you a question there, another level of that, right? You think Papa John just comes out and says something like that on his own? I feel like that's the sort of thing that you do if you're reading the tea leaves or you had somebody holler at you, or you called up somebody and were like, hey, man, we need to do something about these protests. And that somebody was like, well, you know what might be a start. If you're a part of that coalition of owners that's trying to get Raj up out the paint, you got the pizza man that's coming out here talking this. And I bet the NFL get a lot of money from the pizza man. That's where Roger Goodell's got problems. Like, Roger Goodell can kind of survive problems with various owners. At some point, he's going to have a problem with just about every owner because that's the nature of the job that he has. But he can't have problems with the money.
Can't hear all 3 hours of The Right Time? Check them out anytime, on demand, on the ESPN app.
Lakers Locker Room Report.
Lakers basketball is the final.
Recapping everything from tonight's Lakers game on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
124 to 112 is the final score. The Lakers beat the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets still looking for their first win away from home. 0-4 on the road. The Lakers even their mark in Staples Center at 3-3. And last night in Portland, Lonzo Ball had a weird night in where he only took a couple of shots, and just about everybody was saying that needed to go up. He needed to take more shots, even if they're not going in, continue to take more shots. Well, he hurt everybody because that's exactly what he did. He took a bunch of shots, 15 of them. The problem is he only made 3.
That's not good.
No, 20%.
And he was a little bit more aggressive. He did, particularly I thought early in the game, he was forcing the action, he was forcing defenses to respond. And that's what Luke Walton and the coaching staff have emphasized to him. It's not simply about shooting, although, yes, he needs to shoot more, he needs to score more, because otherwise you're playing 4-on-5, even as good of a passer as he is. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's not just about scoring, it's about getting in a place where you're putting pressure on a defense. I thought he did that pretty well early in the game, and then just kind of seemed to fade into the background a little bit, and came back a little bit at the end, and you noticed he was there more. He had the highest plus-minus rating on the team, so it's not like he hurt them with inefficiency and not putting up big numbers, but it just, you didn't know he was there, and a player like Lonzo, that shouldn't happen.
And for a couple of nights in a row, that's happened. And the rest of his stat line tonight, he did have 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and a couple of steals along the way. And he wasn't bad, but I think, I think bad Lonzo is something you go, okay, he's figuring it out, and he's doing some things. It's, there he is. That's what you're not looking for, where he kind of disappears for stretches of time.
And some of that might be us kind of projecting in an unfair way, because we're always we've been conditioned both by the front office and by LeVar to expect magical things all the time when he's out there. And a lot of what Lonzo does and what the coaching staff likes about him is he actually just makes the right pass quickly, that gets the offense moving, makes the people,
a lot of hockey assists.
And he initiates the action, so you end up with a good possession out of it, and that doesn't show up anywhere in a box score.
124 to 112 is the final score, and we invite you to stay with us for more postgame coverage on our flagship station, ESPN LA 710. This has been the Lakers Locker Room on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
You've been listening to the Lakers Locker Room Report.
Brought to you by
Universal Studios Hollywood. Get ready for nonstop terror with more mazes than ever at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. Catch the Lakers Locker Room Report recapping what went down after every Lakers game on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
Are you at home, but you kind of wish you weren't? And you should really stick around the house because of reasons?
Timmy, no baseball in the house!
That's why Buffalo Wild Wings has a new online ordering experience. So when your kid brings home a stray dog, that's actually a coyote, a rabid one. For whatever reason life requires you to stay put, get takeout with our new online ordering experience and be where you have to be. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Availability may vary.
Let's see here. Fire protection.
Check.
Uniforms, mats, and restroom products.
Check.
First aid cabinets and safety products.
Check.
Great. So it sounds like we're ready to go.
No. When I said check, I meant we still need to check on all those things.
Just call Cintas. They can handle all of it. It's what they do.
Okay. Call Cintas. Check. Got it.
Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
It's time for your first chance to react to tonight's Lakers game. Lakers basketball is a final tonight at Staples. This is the Land Rover postgame show, recapping everything from tonight's game against D'Angelo and the Nets.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Did we take care of Brooklyn? What's ahead for Sunday night against the Grizzlies? And your reaction. 877-710-ESPN. The Land Rover postgame show tips off now. Here's Travis Rogers and Brian Kamenetsky.
124 to 112 is your final score. The Lakers beat the Nets in D'Angelo Russell's return to Los Angeles. A pretty typical D'Angelo Russell game. He was decent, not great, not terrible. He finished with 17 points on 8 of 24 shooting. He had 7 assists, 3 steals, and 4 turnovers.
Yeah, I think
that's a D'Angelo game.
I think you're being a little generous. I think that this will not go down as the kind of return that Russell wanted. Got off to a decent start, and then as the game went on, just started missing a lot of shots.
Indeed.
And in that, he had much in common with his teammates.
Phone number 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776 if you'd like to get in and talk about what we saw tonight. And, we were talking a little bit as the game was winding down, Brian, and the Lakers are 4-5 right now, just about 500. And you look back a year ago, and the Lakers were 10-10 through their first 20 games last year, and we were excited about it, and it felt like they were winning games that maybe they shouldn't be winning every once in a while. This 500 or thereabouts record feels more sustainable than the record we saw a year ago.
It does. And I think what impresses me is you start looking at these games like, okay, we all know what the Lakers are. They're not a Western Conference playoff team. I think that is at a very aggressive projection if you want to go there.
I agree.
I don't think they can do that, and I don't think anybody really thinks they can. But they should be better than they were last year. And so you start to say, okay, Detroit's finishing I think it was the last game of a West Coast trip, 3 games in 4 nights. They show up in L.A. after a night off in L.A., by the way, which always benefits the home team.
Right.
And that's a game that an improving team with decent players ought to win because Detroit's not that great. They got off to good, whatever. And they win that game, and they play a very good game and one of the more complete games they've played over the last couple of years. You go up to Portland. That's a place where they typically don't do well. And you say, okay, let's see if they can be competitive in that game. And they were. Bad first quarter and really grinded their way back into it with strong defense and execution and had a chance to win that game at the end. That's an impressive game. And then you turn around and you say, okay, well, Brooklyn, not an awful team.
No.
Not the worst. Better than they were last year. Well coached, good organization now. But not good. They're not better than the Lakers, and certainly on your home floor, that's a game you should go out and win. And they did. So they did in the games that they should win. They won them, and I think won them pretty convincingly. And that, to me, is encouraging.
The Lakers Secret Word promotion is back. We're giving away a Lakers flyaway to see the Lakers and the Warriors in the Bay Area on December 22nd. Here's how you can win. You need to know the secret word to win, and the secret word is magic. So listen Monday morning for Keyshawn's cue to call. And during the 7 a.m. hour, if you are the seventh caller with the correct secret word, magic, you win the Lakers flyaway with airfare, hotel, and tickets to the game. And you said it, that if you kind of squint at this Laker team, and they're not going to make the playoffs this year unless something really goofy happens, but if you kind of squint at it, you can see the beginnings
like four teams full
of an interesting team.
Absolutely. And I think the thing that really, again, changes the perception of what we're looking at here is Kyle Kuzma, because he's found money. Like Lonzo, a couple weird games, if you want to call it that, but he's going to be a good player. He may not be transcendent like people are talking. There's no way that you can tell me that Lonzo Ball is not going to be a good player in this league. Mm-hmm. Brandon Ingram has taken the momentum of the second half from last year and continues to build on it this year in ways that should be very encouraging to Lakers fans. He is going to be a good NBA player. At worst, he's going to be a good NBA player for a long time. That's where you want to be. Randall and Clarkson, don't know how they fit in. But Clarkson's been outstanding this year for a guy that I've been very critical of over the last two seasons. He's been very good, and Randall's doing what Randall does. Those guys are NBA players for a long time, and so then you add to that Kyle Kuzma, 27th pick, and somebody who's not supposed to be what he is right now, and now whoa, yeah, that's found money right there, and the young talent. None of them look like they're going to be out of the league in 2 or 3 or 4 years. Right. And as much as Lakers fans want and need transcendent star
10 of those
players,
guys in the league.
Correct. And it's just as important that when you have high draft picks that they turn out to be good players that you can do something with than it is that they're transcendent. The Lakers can go find one of those guys. The plan is to bring them in free agency. Mm-hmm. But the other guys still need to be good, and they are.
I want to go back to something you said about Lonzo, and I agree with you. I think he's going to be a good player in this league. I think that he's going to play for a long time, but I do think that there is a wide variance in just how good he might be, because if he doesn't fix his shot, there's a ceiling. Their ball just. I know that this is old ground. That it's the form, it's the release, it's all of those things mixed together. But there's been nothing about the way that he shoots the ball that leads me to believe, it's coming. It's just going to take a little time. I wonder if there doesn't need to be some sort of reconstruction of that shot.
Maybe. I don't know, and I don't know enough about shot coaching and say, do you work with what he's got? Do you try to break it? Trying to make that thing look normal that's going to be difficult. Yeah. And so maybe you work with what's there, or Brandon Ingram was a good shooter at Duke, struggled last year, looks better this year. These percentages are creeping up. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, though. If he doesn't figure it out, and we're 8 games in, and so it's too early to say he won't.
Completely agree.
Yeah. His upside is probably limited to something like Ricky Rubio, without the size to be as dominant as Rubio can be on the defensive side of the ball. And Rubio is a very good player, mm-hmm. but part of what makes him so good is because he is a good defender. Lonzo just isn't as naturally big. People don't know this. You notice this. You see that about Rubio. He's huge.
Yeah, he's a
very big guy.
He's a thicker, broader guy than you would think.
For what you picture. And so, that feels to me be like sort of the floor if Lonzo can't shoot, but I think eventually he will.
The McDonald's defensive play of the game is brought to you by McDonald's. Get McDelivery now in the Uber Eats app. Delivery prices may be higher than at restaurants. Booking fee applies. The defensive play of the game.
Here's Joe Harris flying to the rim. Somehow got it to Zeller. Now it's taken away by Tyler Ennis. Some might say ball don't lie. Down the middle, Clarkson, left-hand layup, good. 91-77, Lakers by 14.
Lakers win by 12, 124 to 112. We're back with more on the Land Rover postgame show on ESPN LA.
Whew, sorry I'm late. Ready to tee off?
Dude, you're glowing gold.
Yeah, stopped by Shell on the way to the course and got rewarded with instant gold status.
Cool. Does it do anything?
Yeah, it saves me 5 cents per gallon on every fill every day.
Wow.
And it crushes the long ball. Watch this. Nope, it just saves at Shell.
Get rewarded at Shell when you join the Fuel Rewards program now at fuelrewards.com/gold. Restrictions apply. Active gold status required. Introductory offer valid for 6 months after activation. Limit 20 gallons per transaction at participating Shell stations. See fuelrewards.com/gold for details. Doesn't actually turn bodies gold.
America, it's time for some straight talk. Lobster is really just a fancy way to eat butter. Nobody wants to read the poetry you wrote in college, and guess what? That low-priced unlimited plan those big wireless carriers want to sell you, it's crawling with mystery fees, overages, and other nasty surprises. So it turns out those plans aren't so low-priced after all. But look, there's a better way. Straight Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data now with the first 8 gigs up to 4G LTE starting at just $45. That's way less with no contract. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting blindsided by mystery fees and overages. All on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Come on, it's time to stop being fooled. It's time to ask yourself, why haven't I switched? Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
At Dave & Buster's, we give football fans what they want. $5 apps every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday game day. Massive TVs and action-packed games. It's what the fans want. And that's why every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday game days, you can get $5 apps like Mott Sticks, Spinach Dip, and Nachos. What do football fans want? Beer. Ice-cold beer. This year, football season is at Dave & Buster's. Watch the games and play the games only at Dave & Buster's. See store for details.
This is the Land Rover Postgame Show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Hi, this is Luke Walton on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app.
The Land Rover Postgame Show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Once again, here's Travis Rogers and Brian Kamenetsky.
124 to 112 is the final. The Lakers win off tomorrow. Back at it again on Sunday against the visiting Memphis Grizzlies. If you'd like to get in, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. Let's start in Calabasas with Eli. Eli, you are on the Land Rover postgame show. What's up?
Hi. I just wanted to say that, honestly, right now, Lonzo is not fitting at all with the starting lineup. You've got people like KCP. You've got people like Brook Lopez, Ingram. Those guys don't move off the ball. You got to move them to the bench with people like Clarkson, Randall. They're going to move off the ball, open up some passes. It's not going to happen because of LeVar, but honestly, that's probably the key to the Lakers' success.
Alternatively, Eli, I think you could generate more movement off the ball with those players. I mean, that's one option.
Yeah, Eli, stay there. You have won a 2-night stay, dinner for 2, and golf or bowling for 2 at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino. Just a quick 2-hour drive to the Palm Springs area for championship golf, world-class entertainment, 24-hour Vegas-style gaming, and on-site clubs with hotel. Go to FantasySpringsResort.com. Lonzo's not going to be benched. Lonzo shouldn't be benched, but I think everybody just needs to kind of hit the reset button and just recalibrate your expectations for a guy who was playing high school basketball 2 years ago.
I agree, and it's important to look at it. Last night, when he wouldn't shoot or didn't shoot or whatever, he had the highest plus-minus rating on the team. Tonight, when he was 3 of 15 and didn't put up significant numbers, he was plus 21. He had the highest plus-minus on the team. And so we all want Lonzo to be more assertive in terms of what we see on the floor, even if there are things that don't show up on the stat line. But the notion that he's been hurting the team over the last couple nights while he works through this and finds the right balance just isn't borne out by the stats. And so it's not hurting them, so let him do it. It's fine.
Let's try another one. Let's go to Compton this time. And Nico, you are on the Land Rover postgame show.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Alonzo's all good. He's not hurting the team at all. Expectations was put out the roof because of you-know-who, but if I hope that Kyle Kuzma was watching Jerry Sloan videos while he was at the Utah Utes, because they should be trying to be Stockton and the mailman. Alonzo Ball could be John Stockton. John Stockton was a great Hall of Famer, but John Stockton didn't have no shoes out, okay? But he still was a Hall of Famer. He's no Magic Johnson. He just doesn't have that killer instinct of a Magic. But he is a John Stockton, and Kyle Kuzma can be a mailman, and I think that's what the Lakers should be trying to put those two up to be, Stockton to the mailman, because Kuzma could score, and Lonzo could definitely do all the intangible, the passing, and the leadership, but it's just the expectations was out the roof because of all that came with this hype out of UCLA and Chino Hills.
Oh, Magic Johnson, especially. I think, you know, the Stockton shoe to me coming out would have been like a very sensible loafer.
It's a Chuck Taylor.
It's
a low-top Chuck Taylor.
I think it's just a penny loafer, like something you might wear to a job interview.
Hey, look, there can't be a Laker fan on earth that wouldn't sign up for Stockton and Malone. If you just said Kyle Kuzma's going to turn into Karl Malone.
Count the rings.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that, again, we're talking about Kyle Kuzma 8 games in. And, you know, I think Nico was maybe a little excited coming off the win, like he could be half of a Stockton and Malone combination, which means that makes him Malone. Malone is one of the, 15 best players that's ever played the game.
He's not much past that. I mean, difficult to judge.
In terms of power forward. I mean, he's second leading scorer of all time.
Yeah.
That's good.
He was good.
He was excellent at basketball. And so, a lot of guys have played.
This goes back to what we're talking about. It's expectations. Kyle Kuzma, because the expectations were literally, look, let's be honest. If you are a basketball junkie, maybe you knew who he was. But if you are your rank and file NBA fan, you've never heard his name until they made that deal for him.
I went back
everything.
I went back and looked, and he put up better numbers at Utah than I thought, like as a junior last year. But it's Larry Kristoyak, former, I think he's the coach there.
That's right.
He is I don't need, all I need to know is he is seeing what Kuzma is doing now versus what apparently he was doing in college. Larry Kristoyak is the worst coach in America. He must be. Because this shouldn't happen. This is why college basketball is stupid. Because this should not be able to happen where a kid who can walk into the NBA and score like this somehow falls to 27th in the draft because, Utah, he's doing Larry Kristoyak stuff.
I couldn't agree more. College basketball has become so coach-driven, so system-driven. So, you watch a promo for college basketball, what do you see? You see John Calipari, Coach K, Roy Williams, Bill Self.
Yep.
You don't see a player because they're not allowed to do anything. And Kyle Kuzma is the ultimate example of this, that he's a good NBA player, and no one even knew he walked the earth until 3 weeks ago.
How much did we all wring our hands? Ben Simmons can't even get LSU into the tournament. Look at this. He said these are fake numbers he's putting up and all that kind of stuff. Okay, first of all, he was probably worried about his English homework.
So, that's probably not what it was. But
okay, so he's playing with bad players.
He went to LSU, right?
Rigorous.
The L is for Louisiana. Yeah, just so we're clear.
I'm not convinced the U is for university.
Where'd you go to school? Oh, Louisiana State.
Umbrella.
Oh, okay.
It's for umbrella or unicorn. And so, he walks into the NBA and he's basically averaging a triple-double over the last, over his first 9 games as a pro. And so, you just can't look at these guys and what they do in college as any kind of barometer because the game is so vastly different. And it's stupid.
All right, the Drive of the Game is brought to you by L.A. Car Guy. Check out monthly specials and browse the inventory of all 11 L.A. Car Guy dealerships on one website, lacarguy.com.
Grabbed by Caldwell Pope. Here come the Lakers the other way. Caldwell Pope into the front court. Dribbles in between his legs, give it to Lonzo. Lonzo, head down, fly into the rim. Left-hand layup, good. 4 in the game for Lonzo. Lakers lead by 11.
Lonzo Ball with the Drive of the Game. We got a ton of phone calls on hold. We're going to come back. We're going to get to as many of them as we can. The Lakers win 124-112. You're listening to the Land Rover Postgame Show on ESPN LA.
With Pennzoil Synthetics in your engine, you can let your horses run free. Because Pennzoil Synthetics gives you the power of complete protection. So you can let your engine growl, burn, and roar. We know horsepower matters, and that's why Dodge SRT trusts Pennzoil in the fastest and most powerful production car in the world. And if they trust our performance, you can too. Pennzoil Synthetics give you complete protection for top engine performance. Make the switch today at your nearest Advanced Auto Parts location.
This week, tune into the Paul Feinbaum Show as I discuss
the delicious taste of ice cold Dr. Pepper.
Larry Culpepper? Hey, I'm in the middle of a promo.
Sorry, Finey. The fans are craving so much Dr. Pepper, I thought I'd borrow some of your airtime.
Security!
Hey, look, whether you're watching college football or calling into some guy's radio show, Dr. Pepper makes college football that much sweeter. So head to your local Dollar General and grab some today.
Can I have one of yours?
Hey, we got a caller. You're on the Larry Culpepper Show with your host, Larry Culpepper.
That's it.
That's Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave.
Football Sunday. But Texans lose superstar quarterback Deshaun Watson for the season. Can backup Tom Savage lead the charge and keep pace in the AFC South against the Colts? Football Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPN Radio.
How you doing there? Beautiful car, isn't she?
Yeah, what's the price?
Yeah, 93 late nights at the office. Well, plus tax, of course.
93 late nights? Oh, my budget's more like 78.
Oh, let me talk to the boss, see what I could do.
While other insurance companies just see a car, we see something you worked really hard for. So why not give it the protection it deserves?
Well, now, he's never done this before, but he says I could do 90 late nights and some free air fresheners.
Deal.
State Farm. Call an agent today.
The Land Rover Postgame Show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Hey, it's Lonzo Ball on ESPN, LA 710.
Come along for the ride. It's Lakers basketball.
The Land Rover Postgame Show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Once again, here's Travis Rogers and Brian Kamenetsky.
Lakers win 124-112. Andy Kamenetsky joining us here in the studio as well. Let's get some of these phone calls in. We got a full load here. Let's start in Santa Monica with Alan. Alan, you are on the Land Rover postgame show. What's going on?
I think the Lakers have done a disservice to Ball. I think he's just not ready to be a starting point guard in the NBA. I think he potentially could be and will be a good player in the NBA. But he's not fast enough. He's not strong enough. He doesn't shoot well enough. And I think all that will come. He's 20 years old. I think all of that will come.
People don't like him.
I don't think
it's not like he's not stumbling all over the floor and throwing the ball into the ninth row.
It's an expectation thing. That's 90% of what this is. His shot doesn't look good. That is a stone cold fact, but the rest of it is expectation driven, I think.
Well, I mean, this is the potential downside to when you sell a player before he's even played a summer league game as transcendent, the face of the organization, and somebody that the rest of the league is already tripping over themselves to play with. And it's not that Lonzo can't live either up to that or up to, say, an A- version of that, which would be really good. But the problem is people want it now because he was described as being that now.
Yeah, no, there was no ramp up. This was he's going to save everybody, and here we go. And, well,
save the world, not even this franchise, the world.
Camarillo this time, and Al. Al, you're on the Land Rover postgame show. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I want to kind of touch on Kyle a little bit. I mean, this kid he's absolutely fantastic, and that's what a couple of years in college will do to you. For example, Larry Nance. I mean, he does all the little things. This guy reminds me of a Maury Stoudemire, except with a shot, with a 3-point shot, and he just he runs the floor real well. He doesn't make tons of mistakes, and pretty high basketball IQ for a rookie coming in. And I think they've been doing a great job scouting these past few years with Jordan Clarkson as well. So, I mean, I like the kid. He's perfect, I think, for the offense.
Yeah, the Lakers, thanks, Al. The Lakers have done a really good job of getting good players later in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, forget just Kuzma. Josh Hart is a rotation player.
But see, I'm glad you mentioned him, Andy, because, to me, Josh Hart is a perfect example of a guy you would normally, under normal circumstances, you would say at the 30th. He was the 30th pick, where you'd say, ooh, you know what? I think we got a guy who looks like he could be a player in this league.
Mm-hmm.
If you find that at 30, you're excited. That is a win, no question, because a lot of those guys fade away. Kuzma at 27, which is basically the same thing, is playing like you found a top 5 guy. And so it's not even knock against Hart when you can start comparing the two, because Hart is basically the normal version of what would get you excited. Kuzma is like 10,000 steps beyond that, which is such an amazing – it's why Lakers fans are so excited.
Let's try another one. West Hollywood this time, and Brandon, you're on the Land Rover postgame show. What's up?
Yeah, guys, it just, in the wake of Kyle Kuzma's first career start, I think the question needs to be asked, what Rob and Magic do with Julius Randle. I mean, the trade deadline's, it's really close to happening, and I don't really see Julius being a part of this team long term. I guess what's your guys' take on that, and what do you think we could get for him in a trade?
Gentlemen?
Well, I mean, it should be noted, Randall's playing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, whether he's part of the long-term future is more a matter of math than Kuzma really playing him out of a spot on this team. It's not like Randall is getting dwarfed by Kuzma's production. Kuzma's just more unexpected. Randall's playing really well. As far as what they could get for him now, it's a tricky question because whoever takes him on is all of a sudden going to be in the position where they have to pay him. Otherwise, they lose him.
And I do think the biggest
he's going to be a restricted free agent.
The big impact of Kuzma on the Randall situation is that it makes it harder to find him the kind of minutes on this team it's starting to look like for a guy that he's probably going to command, at worst, $17, $18 million a year. And so that's where Kuzma's impact, I think, is really felt. It's not that he's so good that Randall is useless. He's not useless. He's playing very well. But you just can't pay somebody that kind of money to play 21 minutes a night.
Let's keep going. Enrique in Berea. Enrique, you are on the Land Rover postgame show. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I agree. I don't see Randall being in the Lakers roster in the future, and I just want to say, I mean, everybody keeps focusing on what we don't have and a star point guard already, and just want to focus on what we do have. Like you guys said, Kyle Kuzma just balling out right now. Imagine if we didn't have him. I mean, what would we be talking about? And Brook Lopez looks great. I mean, that guy would start in about 25 different teams, and looking to next year.
He's been a career starter his whole career. I mean, he's pretty much started his career.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You put him on the Cavs, and I mean, that's a complete team. You know what I mean? I just look forward to next year and maybe sign.
That's why he started
big.
His whole career.
Yeah, sign someone big, like go after Paul George, and I'm just looking to the future more. Just a question to you guys: who do you think the Lakers will go after more, like Paul George and maybe LeBron James?
Both. I don't think there's
the answer. Yeah. The answer to every who are they going after list starts with LeBron James.
Yep.
And then it moves to Paul George, and then from there probably you start talking about DeMarcus Cousins. And after that, actually, then it starts really thinning out quickly. The gigantic free agent summer, guys, tell me if you disagree, is about LeBron and Paul George. That's basically it.
Well, in theory, if you get LeBron, it means you're going to get somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where
he's not coming by himself.
Right. It's the domino effect. And, LeBron is that magnet that other people, generally speaking, want to play with. However, if you don't get LeBron, it doesn't mean that nobody will come, but it just starts seeming like a lot more dicey proposition.
Well, then it starts getting into do you bring back a guy like KCP? Do you roll this cap space over again and try to find another year's worth of 1-year guys that you could bring in to be competitive while you look at 2019?
All right, the block of the game is brought to you by Ritz Plumbing. The next time your pipes are all blocked and backed up, the only place to use is family-owned Ritz Plumbing. In business for over 85 years, ritzplumbing.com. The block of the game.
Dribbling, goes right side to Crabbe. Back to Dinwiddie, way out near half court. Dinwiddie gives the ball to Zeller at the rim. Puts it up, blocked by Randall from behind. Grabbed by Ingram. Great defensive play by Randall. Caldwell Pope lay it up and in on the other end. That was all started by the block from Randall.
Julius Randle with the block of the game. The Lakers win 124 to 112. We're back with more on the Land Rover postgame show on ESPN LA.
It's time for some straight talk. Green, you love your phone, don't you?
I'm updating my fantasy roster on it as we speak.
But I'm guessing you don't love your pricey wireless plan, what with all the mystery fees and data overages every month.
Oh, you got that right.
What if I told you that you could keep that phone you love, but pay a whole lot less every month?
Well, I'm in.
With Straight Talk Wireless, you can actually keep your same phone, your same number, even your same network, but for a whole lot less than you're paying right now. It's kind of like getting the number one starting quarterback.
For the price of a backup kicker.
Steal of the draft.
Bring your own phone to Straight Talk Wireless. Unlimited plans start at just $45 a month with nationwide coverage on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks. Straight Talk Wireless. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. A month equals 30 days. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Sometimes the best seats in the house are above it. In college football, that's the Goodyear blimp. And for more than 60 years, we've seen what it takes to be worthy. It takes toughness, dedication, and perseverance. Because seasons aren't measured by wins and losses, but by heart. Some call it hard work, determination, or grit. We call it blimp worthy. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
This is the Land Rover postgame show. Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Hey, it's Lonzo Ball on ESPN, LA 710. Come along for the ride. Lakers basketball.
The Land Rover postgame show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Once again, here's Travis Rogers and Brian Kamenetsky.
Lakers with a 124 to 112 win over the Nets tonight. The Universal Studios Hollywood star of the game is presented by Universal Studios Hollywood. Get ready for nonstop terror with more mazes than ever at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. Tonight's star of the game, Brook Lopez.
Lonzo dribbling, top of the key.
Take it, Lonzo.
Whips it into Lopez. Lopez right to the front of the rim, slam dunk. And what a game for Brook Lopez. 34 points and 10 rebounds.
All right, let's try another phone call here, 877-710-ESPN. Let's go to Downey and Mo. Mo, you are on the Land Rover postgame show.
Yeah, hi, my name is Mo. I was asking about actually Brook Lopez. So before we got him, starting from this year, everyone knew he was just a one-and-deal kind of guy, and after this year, we probably would leave him. But, he's playing really well this year. And personally, I never really liked Brook Lopez because he doesn't rebound as much, even though he is a center, so that does bother me a little bit. But if he plays at this pace, he's looking like the best besides Kuzma. Do you think it's smart to re-sign him with a big contract, or what do you think is going to happen?
It's going to depend on what happens in the offseason. Brook Lopez is not going to be a priority for this team this summer. If they completely strike out with free agents, then I guess it starts coming down to, okay, how well does Brook Lopez play with this team? How well do we think he'll age into a role over a few years? How long do we want him here? The truth be told, if this team wants to get better, wants to maybe try to make the playoffs next season, experience will help. But Lopez will only be on this team next year if it's only going to happen either if they strike out in free agency or he's willing to take a deep discount.
What do you guys think the odds are that they just swing and miss, that they get neither of those guys? Is it a 50-50 proposition? Is it less than that, more than that?
Tell me how good Lonzo is this year. Tell me how good Ingram is this year. Tell me what the perception of the league is of the Lakers.
So you think it's predicated on their performance and
tell me how good the Thunder is.
Yeah.
It is not going to be easy for Paul George to walk away from a team that gets to say the Western Conference Finals.
Does Cleveland win a title? Does Cleveland not win a title? Do the Cavs manage to make a deal that helps them at the deadline? Look, somebody floated this idea, and I haven't looked at the math. I don't know what. Brook Lopez in Cleveland down the stretch would be a
Yeah, I mean, that guy earlier pointed out he's a career starter. I mean, he could really help out the Cavaliers.
But the reality, in all seriousness, he really could.
You put that guy on the Cavaliers, he starts. Lopez automatically.
He would definitely start.
Yeah.
And so, guys like Lopez, KCP, and all that, we're talking about would we keep them for next year? They may not be on the team after the deadline. Mm-hmm. And so, they're good players on expiring contracts who make a lot of money. They're going to have some value around the league.
Let's try one more very quickly. Monterey Park this time. And Mitch, you are on the Land Rover Postgame Show. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to bring up the point. I don't get why a lot of fans are saying to bench Lonzo. I just don't think that's possible. You take a number 2 pick who's averaging about 11, 7, and 7 and put him on the bench. I think a lot of fans, we get caught up in looking at the box score at the end of the game, and we get worried. You go, oh, he only shot 2 times, or this game he was 3 for 15. And I think he has so many intangibles and so many things he does that aren't quantified on the stat sheet. And I think it's just a good thing to remember that while analytics can kind of tell you what's going on, the eye, when you're watching the game, tells you why they're going on. And Lonzo's a key factor in why the offense is getting set up. And he's an underrated defender, which is why the Lakers have been super improved on that end this year as well, too.
I agree with everything except for that last part about him being an underrated defender. I don't think he's a very good defender. The rest of it, I'm with Mitch. I think that he's right. I think that people need to recalibrate their expectations for him. But his defense is...
No, he's not that good yet.
Yeah.
I think he is sort of a net neutral on this team. I mean, you can see how much this team has improved overall, that his defense doesn't really stand out one way or the other.
Yeah, no, he's going to be really good. As soon as he can start making a couple of buckets along the way,
he's not getting benched. I can tell you that right now.
Nope, that ain't happening. He can take 2 shots, or he can take 3.
Unless he quits, he's not getting benched.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it. 124 to 112 is the final score. The Lakers beat the Nets. They're back at it again against the Grizzlies coming up on Sunday. This has been the Land Rover Postgame Show on ESPN LA.
You've been listening to tonight's Land Rover Postgame Show.
Your Southern California Land Rover retailers. Visit them for special lease and finance offers. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Lakers basketball, presented by
Pizza Hut. Get a large 2-topping pizza with pizza delivered for just $7.99 when you order online. Only at Pizza Hut. Gardens Casino, featuring 220 flat-screen TVs, 24 California craft beers on tap, and an upscale bar and lounge with handcrafted cocktails. Located off the 605 and Carson Street. Please play responsibly. The Gardens Casino, best play in L.A.
In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's all about.
Universal Studios Hollywood. Get ready for nonstop terror with more mazes than ever at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. LA Car Guy. LA Car Guy. Check out monthly specials and browse the inventory of all 11 LA Car Guy dealerships in one website. LACarGuy.com.
Get closer to Lakers basketball right here. The Lakers play here. ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app. Football Sunday. The Texans lose superstar quarterback Deshaun Watson for the season. Can backup Tom Savage lead the charge and keep pace in the AFC South against the Colts? Football Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPN Radio.
What if I told you that even ordinary people can be on top of the world?
The first attempt on the North Pole by a team of women gets underway today.
The epic adventure will take them over 1,000 kilometers of hazardous sea ice. It's thousands of miles of ice and nobody.
And so I found myself walking into this water and then sinking up to my neck.
I honestly thought I was going to die in the Arctic.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is brought to you by Blue Moon. Behind every athlete, team, or victory is a story. There's a story behind Blue Moon. Blue Moon Belgian White, a Belgian-style wit beer, was born in a ballpark. It started as the Sandlot Brewery inside Coors Field at the beginning of the 1995 baseball season. One beer turned into a roster of beers, and the clear fan favorite, then called Bellyside Wit, is known today as Blue Moon Belgian White.
On the home of Lakers basketball, ESPN LA 710. Just such a great night. We've got so much in store for you. What's on tap tonight?
on Soccer Weekly is sponsored by Pocock Brewing. Visit pocockbrewing.com to see what's on tap right now in their tasting room. Pocock Brewing Company, embrace life, drink good beer. And we have truly a good show ready for you here on Soccer Weekly on this Friday. Again, you know, with the world of soccer the way it is, with so much going on in the world of sports, you know, you just got to be ready and willing. By the way, programming note, Tuesday coming up is the next Soccer Weekly. So it's going to be like kind of bam, bam, Friday this evening and then Tuesday next week because of some other programming here at ESPN LA 710, the home for sports in Southern California, no doubt, including soccer. And we jump right in with MLS playoffs. We got so much more to talk about. This is what's on tap. MLS playoffs, Champions League. Going to be talking with the Galaxy midfielder and U.S. men's national team midfielder coming off of injury.